With the Nintendo Switch reaching its 6th birthday this year after being the sole driver for Nintendo since 2017, some people are wondering what's next. We've seen the Switch go through the usual revision and remodel with the Switch Lite for a more affordable playstyle and the OLED for a more premium experience. But like I said, these are revisions rather than a new console, something that people are beginning to talk about and almost kind of wanting as the Switch, like I said, has been on the market for the past 6 years. Me personally though, I believe we won't be getting anything soon, and there are a variety of factors as to why I think this is. But real quick, I want to say that we are so close to hitting 500 subscribers, and something special is in the works as a celebration. So if you do enjoy, then please feel free to subscribe. Anyway, let's get started. So the first lens, I guess, to see this through is the business side. And obviously, I'm pretty sure it's no secret, the console is Nintendo's sole source of revenue. I mean, there's no 3DS, there's no Wii U, there's no like anything else. And of course, yeah, there's other things like the games themselves and the other things like the accessories. There are a lot of other things that come from their revenue. But all in all, like I said, it pretty much might as well be the sole source of revenue. I mean, anything that is involved with Nintendo is under the Nintendo Switch name to a degree. And pretty much, yes, it is indeed the sole source of the revenue. Like I said, the Pro controllers, the online services, of course, the games. So yes, it might as well be the sole source of the revenue. And this is mainly just because of the hybrid nature, as it makes it both the purchase of a console and a handheld. So rather than years prior where they would have, say for example, the Wii U and then the 3DS or the Wii and the DS, this is all combined into one as just the Nintendo Switch. So there's no two different sources of revenue, as it's now just the one from the Switch. However, this is also no secret. The revenue is honestly really amazing due to the Switch's insane success. I mean, currently it's the third best-selling console of all time and the second best-selling Nintendo console of all time. So regardless on how much money it's making in the actual grand scheme of things, we can assume that it is definitely making Nintendo a lot of money. And because of this, like I said, from a business standpoint, it just makes more sense to keep riding this current revenue train. I mean, say for example, you were a business, right? And you found something that works. You found something that is making you millions upon millions of dollars. Like, why would you be in any rush to make something new? Because it's already working. So why fix something that isn't broken? And that's one of the biggest things to understand is that Nintendo, at the end of the day, is still a business. And if the Nintendo Switch is doing so well, then why bother making the console so soon if the Nintendo Switch is still doing wonders for them? I mean, this is mainly why new big AAA games are still coming out for the Switch, like say for example Breath of the Wild 2, and of course all the other things from the Nintendo Switch Online service. I mean, just financially and as a business, it makes total sense for them, because like why even bother? If the Switch is already working, then might as well keep riding it until it becomes so relevant that it's not making any money anymore. And I'm pretty sure that's the vision of Nintendo regarding the Switch. Something else that's really important is that massive consoles typically do have a long lifespan. Like take for example the Xbox 360 or the NES, due to not really needing to fix the circumstances of the time. Like say for example the N64 needing to come out due to the 3D gaming hype at the time, or the Switch itself to save the Wii U, as it pretty much was just killing Nintendo from the inside out. And again, the hybrid nature of it almost necessitates the fact that it should be able to last a decade due to it filling the niche of both the handheld and a console. Primarily regarding the handhelds usually last longer. I mean, take the Game Boy, or at least the original Game Boy. Of course, there was the Game Boy Color in the mix, so it can kind of fog up the whole Game Boy library, but I'm talking the original Game Boy from 1989 all the way up into the Game Boy Advance. I mean, that's an incredibly long lifespan. I mean, it literally spanned well over a decade. So, I mean, I'm not saying that handhelds are like pretty much immortal and will never be replaced, but I'm saying that handhelds definitely last a lot longer than say consoles, mainly just because of the fact that they're handhelds. They're obviously going to be inferior, so games that are made on the system are not trying to push the graphic limit or whatever like modern day consoles are. They're just out here to give you a good experience on the go. And like I said, the Switch has to kind of fill both niches of equally lasting a long time as both a handheld and of course being a console itself, pushing graphics and being really good and that kind of thing. And one of the most important things is that Nintendo themselves in 2022 said that this was the middle of the Switch's lifespan, pretty much confirming that yes, they do intend to ride the Switch hype train for at least a decade. It's with this confirmation that yeah, it's pretty much uncertain that we're gonna get anything anytime soon, and if we're gonna get anything soon, it's probably not gonna be until 2026, which at that point, it might even be just like a first look kind of trailer, similar to what the Switch had. And another potential reason for its long lifespan is mainly just because the Switch is in a little bit of a bind, at least in my own opinion. I mean, take for example other consoles like the N64 to the GameCube or the NES to the SNES. I mean, it just kind of made total sense because, better graphics, better 3D models, better music, better sound, better everything. It just kind of made sense to have a logical kind of increase in quality. But when it comes to the Switch, what do you really do next? Nintendo kind of had a similar bind in the past with the Wii days, and we all kind of know what happened after the Wii, so yikes. But the Nintendo Switch is one of those systems where it's like, what do you do to top it? I mean, do they just kind of go back to doing the separate handheld and console thing? They almost redefine the industry where it's like, oh, maybe consoles now need to be both a handheld and a console, which obviously, you know, that will never be the case because, you know, each kind of system has its own kind of niche to fill. So it would be pretty illogical if that were to be the case. But like, think about it, right? What really is there to do after the Switch? I mean, it's such an infamous and revolutionary console that it's just kind of one of those systems where it's like, wow, what really do you do after this? It's just kind of like, if you yourself were to think of a console and what to do next, like, what would you say to follow the Switch? Because it truly is such a unique and very successful console. And that leads us to the main question as to when will it die? And like I said before, and what Nintendo roughly confirmed before, the Switch will probably die somewhere in 2027 or maybe even 2028, depending on how successful it is in the future. My best guess as to when it's kind of starting to sizzle out maybe is probably we're going to get some kind of first look or reveal trailer potentially in 2026 due to a lack of rush to make a new console. So Nintendo's not like, oh, we have to make a console right now, we gotta go. Like, no, Nintendo Switch has been very successful, so they're gonna kind of, you know, keep on riding the hype train. Again, like I said before, the hype is so irrelevant that they have to release a new console. And another thing that I can potentially see is that the Switch will officially be phased out once, quote, everybody has a Switch, kind of like the Wii days where it died down sometime in like 2009, 2010, where pretty much everybody like kind of died off the initial hype, where everybody pretty much owned a Wii. Because when it first released in 2006, 2007, and then a little bit in 2008, everybody was like, oh, I need a Wii. I need to get myself a Wii. I gotta hop on this hype train. And even if you didn't even want a Wii, everybody just walked into Walmart and said, okay, yeah, I want to play me some bowling. I want to play me some tennis. So then they just bought a Wii instinctively. And then once those people had a Wii, they're just like, okay, now we're just out of the initial rush for it. I just feel like we're going to get to a point to where everybody has a Switch, like I said, to where, like I said, the initial hype is going to be so irrelevant that they're going to have to release a new console pretty much because everybody who wants a Switch or will ever want to Switch already has one. And to finish things off, honestly, I'm not really hoping for anything new regarding the systems, and honestly, I'm pretty happy as to where they are currently. I mean, the Switch is doing very well for them. It's very successful. The games are honestly super amazing, and they've honestly never been better, and they just keep making things look better and better regarding the Switch's quality and the value, with the Game Boy Virtual Console coming, the N64 that keeps getting games now, and being able to play them online, which is really cool, and of course the continuous first-party releases like Breath of the Wild, along with some other things that may be in the works for the future. Like, we're still getting the Booster Course Pass for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Generation 9 for Pokemon just started, well, give or take a couple months, but I mean, you know what I mean, right? So I mean, it's not like they're gonna end the Switch like next year or something. So honestly, if you're considering buying a Switch, definitely buy it now because you're still gonna get a good like 4 to 5 years out of it still. But again, these are all just my thoughts. If you have your own opinions and thoughts about this, then definitely let me know down in the comments below, because I'm very curious to see where people's stances are on the Switch and how it's been going on for such a long time, and some people are a fan of it and some people just want to see something new. Like I said, definitely let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you did enjoy, then feel free to leave this video a like and subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Take care.